All right, guys, mitered corners, whether it's for a picture frame, a cabinet door like this, or even for casings around your windows and doors, it's always a little tricky to get that perfect tight miter. And I have tested pretty much every single clamping mechanism that's on the market, from ratchet straps to corner clamps to end clamps, everything, even little jigs to help me set up to get that tight miter. And I found that it only frustrates me. So today I'm going to show you guys how I get the perfect miter every single time, no matter what, without using all this stuff. So let's get started, and welcome to the Komar project. Whether you're cutting miters on a table saw or a miter saw like I do 99% of the time, the most important thing before you get started is to make sure that you are actually getting a true, accurate 45-degree cut from your saw. There are a lot of great videos out there that will show you how to set up your specific saw, and once you have that accurate cut, we can concentrate on repeatability. Because we're trying to make 4 perfect 90-degree corners to make a square or a rectangle, the parallel sides need to be the exact same size every time. And this is very easy to accomplish with a stop block. I have multiple stop blocks that I use in my T-track over at the miter station, and I know most people will not have that because you need to be portable, and that's totally okay. All you need to do is just figure out some sort of stop block where you can have repeatable cuts all the time. You can clamp a piece of wood down that will act as a stop, or you can even screw a piece of scrap wood down to your workstation. Whatever works. My favorite stop is just 2 pieces of walnut that are screwed together at a 45-degree angle that lock the miter in perfectly. But I also wanted one that is adjustable for different angles. So I grabbed a piece of mahogany, and pretty much any hardwood will do. I would stay away from anything soft like pine or poplar, and I cut it down to 9 inches long and then ripped it over at my bandsaw so that that top portion of the stop is 1.5 inches wide. Next, I took it over to my drill press and drilled 1/4-inch holes all the way down. And the thought here was that I can move that stop up or down using each hole as an adjustment, but that just means that more time unscrewing the knob, pulling it up, setting it, in the next hole, and then hoping that it's the right one. So I decided to take it over to my router and cut in a 1/4-inch slot that will allow me to make the adjustments without removing the knob and having to switch from hole to hole. And now I can add a washer, screw on the knob, adjust it any way I want to lock in the piece, and I can get repeatable cuts every single time without any discrepancy. Before we get into gluing them up and using my favorite miter clamp, let's talk about strengthening these miters. I'm in the process of building our pantry out, and I'm making cabinet doors that require a miter because of how the profile is. And I wanted to give them a little bit more strength by adding dominoes at each corner. And I've heard many people say over the years that adding dominoes only helps to align your workpiece during the glue up, and that doesn't add any additional strength. But adding a domino to a miter joint significantly increases its holding power by turning that normally weak end grain glue joint into a much stronger long grain to long grain connection. It resists the pulling and twisting forces, and yes, it also keeps everything aligned during glue up. You can get away with not using them in a picture frame, but on a cabinet door where the door is constantly opened and closed, I will always use some sort of reinforcement, whether it's a domino, a biscuit joiner, or even a dowel. Now, these are the only miter clamps that I will ever use moving forward. The silver one is from a company called Chestnut Tool and Chowder Company, and the black one is O School, and I found that one on Amazon. They're a little bit pricey at around $50 to $80 each, depending on where you get them from. I did find a couple that were about $35 each, but I haven't used them yet, so I'm not going to say they're any good. But these two have worked great for me, and I'll leave links to both of them in the description below. Clamps like these miter clamps work by applying even pressure across both sides of a 45-degree joint at the same time, pulling two pieces together while keeping that corner perfectly square. And when you turn the lever, it drives a bar outward with small prongs that bite into the material, locking everything in place. Unlike standard clamps that can cause the joint to slip and slide out of position, these are designed to hold everything tight and square, which means you don't have to worry about the other corners being in alignment during the glue up. And for me, that is huge. I can't tell you how many times I set one corner and I'm ready to clamp everything in place with a ratchet strap and the other corner slips. With this clamp, I can do one corner at a time and not end up cussing and getting frustrated during the glue up. If you've ever done miters, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The only downside with these clamps are the holes that the prongs leave behind. If you're painting your frames, it's not a problem at all. If you are leaving them clear, you do have to use some sort of wood filler to match. But since I'm going to be painting these doors, you're never going to know that these holes were ever there. I use a little bit of plastic wood from DAP to fill all these holes and then sand everything nice and smooth before applying primer and finishing these doors off with 3 coats of black paint. And like I said before, you don't need a domino or a biscuit joiner to help prevent things from sliding around during the glue up with these clamps. As long as you line everything up with your workpiece, the prongs will hold everything in line and lock it all in. So whether you're working with softwood like poplar, hardwood like zebra, or even particle board, these clamps will hold everything right where you want it to ensure you get a perfect miter every time. Now, picture frames and cabinet doors are one thing, but where I personally get the most use out of these is when installing casings. When we were renovating our house, I used them on every single window and door I could. I would just measure out the window, add a 1/4 inch for the reveal, and mass produce them in the shop and then install them as a single unit. Because most of the time I'm working by myself, being able to knock out windows in no time really makes a difference. And just to test how efficient it really is, I use them against a ratchet strap in a side-by-side comparison. These are 2 cabinet doors that I'm working on right now, and on the left I'm assembling with a miter clamp, and on the right I have a miter ratchet strap that I used to use all the time. This is sped up 500 times, and with the miter clamps, most of the time is spent getting my glue from getting into the small reveals on the profile. But the actual setup, assembly, the clamping took almost no time. On the other hand, with the ratchet strap, most of the time is spent untangling it, setting it up. And every time I would shift one corner, the other would slide out of alignment. I also had to use a quick clamp to keep the miter flush all the way across because even though I'm using a domino on a larger setting, there is still room for them to shift around and misalign. And because there is nothing holding them in place except for the equal forces applied by the ratchet strap, they just keep moving around as opposed to the prongs on the miter clamp locking everything in place. Now 4 minutes and 10 seconds is not shabby for a cabinet door glue up. But I know I could have knocked that miter clamp time down significantly, maybe even 2.5 to 3 minutes if I wasn't messing around with removing the glue from the profile. But you can definitely tell that there is a significant difference in time, but more importantly, its accuracy and the removal of stress from this process. And there we go. We got a perfect mitered door. I mean, it doesn't get any easier. I mean, there's no more trying to clamp this thing with a ratchet strap or trying to line everything up and shoot some nails into it. This is probably the easiest. This is the easiest method that I have found to do miters, and they're perfect every time. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something. I'm gonna have a link to these in the description below. This is not sponsored. I have been using these for about 2 years now after a friend of mine showed them to me, and I'm never going back. And if you guys have an easier way of doing this, please let me know because I would love to know because I'm always doing miters. Thank you so much for joining me on this experience. I will see you guys next time. You fancy guy. Where'd you get the clamps from?
This is an old guy. He's making them custom made.
Really?
Handmade. Look at this. It's handmade.
Can you still get them?
Yeah, it's called clamps.
And then
This is knockoff. Czekaj, ty masz ten combination square.
Mam.
No, zaraz.
Mam wszystko.
Bum, bum, bum.
Tak. What the f***, what is this? Co ty wziąłeś?
Ty nigdy nie używałeś to?
Ja wszystko mam.
A dlaczego nigdy nie używałeś? Co ty tym robisz?
Coś tam może mierzyłem, nie pamiętam.